All right, welcome back to another session here at Start Smart Real Estate Reimagined. The goal really for me is to share what I know, share my experiences, my knowledge, my research, and get other people on the podcast as well to share what they know about real estate so we can help each other grow and create more or better business and better lifestyles as well, because that's really important for me. I love real estate and I love working on it, but I also like life and want to create that good, happy balance as well. And today's topic is fantastically aligned with that. It's about ChatGPT and how to use ChatGPT in your real estate business, in life in general, because I use it in my business, but I also use it a lot in my personal life too. It's amazing what you can do with this thing. And I think a lot of people that are in ChatGPT use it on a very basic level, and maybe it's the fear of the unknown of what it can actually do. Its capabilities are constantly shifting my mindset around what it can do. So it's a fantastic bit of equipment to use in our system. And what I like to think of ChatGPT, because I'm not a tech guru, um, I'm definitely not that tech guy. I struggle to figure out tech very quickly, so it takes me time. But ChatGPT was one of those things that came across my path about 12 months ago. And as soon as I saw it, I thought, holy hell, this is going to change the game of real estate business, but of life generally. And it's here to stay, so it's not going away. We can see AI incorporated in more and more of everything we do in life, through your emails management, your personalized calendars. It can record these meetings that I'm doing here and then create transcripts and summaries very accurately about what's happening. So the AI space is big, and really, as I see it, I don't think it's going to replace jobs ultimately, but not all jobs. Mostly, what it's going to do is create greater efficiencies. It's like when machinery came in, to farming years. What happened there? We saw machinery come in, and it just meant people didn't have to do the physical labor as much. So it created much more efficiencies and therefore much more greater output as well. So that's how I see ChatGPT. I see it as my very personal assistant, and it'll evolve from being a personal assistant as it is now to actually being able to start to do certain tasks for us as well. So we will have what we'd call agents, and these agents will be able to not only be our assistant, but then be able to do certain tasks for us as well, like manage emails and respond to emails, for example. That's the future of where it's heading. And they're just about to launch a new update, which is going to be tenfold better than it already is. So it's a pretty credible machine. ChatGPT got to 100 million users in 2 months. So it took off pretty significantly. And if you compare that to some of the other sites that we are familiar with, like Netflix, it took 3.5 years for Netflix to get to 100 million users, and it took Facebook 10 months to get to 100 million users. So ChatGPT is pretty phenomenal take up. So a lot of people are using it because it's creating efficiencies. I use it. I started off using it basically just to write some articles. So I was one of those guys that always wrote blog articles about what's happening in the property market for my particular area. And I would spend hours, researching and then writing a blog article. I am a writer in my background. I've authored a couple of books now as well. And so I do love the writing process. But it just took so long. Like I'd spend half a day writing and researching a blog article to then post. Whereas now what I can do is I can do my research, which I do, and then I can actually just type in a summary of what I've taken away from whatever particular article I'm reading, or I can press the record button and just record into ChatGPT my takeaways or my summary. And then because ChatGPT knows me now, I can get it to craft a blog article or a property market update based on the information that I input. So I think it's just fantastic. And that takes my half day, what it used to be, down to about, potentially an hour to get a fully written blog article done with images and uploaded to my website. So it certainly creates efficiencies. One thing I think we need to be aware of with ChatGPT is that you need to have human input. And I've made this mistake at the start where I was just getting it to do things for me and then posting it. And ChatGPT, if not prompted correctly, it'll just create whatever it thinks it needs for your for your personality and your business. And it may not show up accurately as to who you really are. And I think that's important because you're still marketing your personality and your brand, and people are going to be seeing that. And if that doesn't actually align with what your brand and personality actually is, people are going to see that, and it's not going to help build trust. So really, what you want to do is have your input, your human input into ChatGPT, so it then can use its artificial intelligence to create efficiencies in whatever you're creating with it. And then before you share it or post it or use that material, you then need to check it yourself again as well. So human input, artificial intelligence, then human output. So make sure we follow that process. Let's talk about prompting. Prompting is really important for ChatGPT. And I'll just give a basic example. Like, let's say we're going to create a social media post for Facebook. You could simply ask or type into ChatGPT. What's an example? Let's create an update for the suburb of Palmwoods here on the Sunshine Coast, and then you can press click, and ChatGPT will go to work and do that for you. But what you really want to do is prompt it a bit more better. And what I mean by that is like asking your assistant, if you ask them to just create a post for Palmwoods, they'll just create something, right? But if you ask them correctly with clear direction, the output's going to be a lot better and a lot more aligned with what you want. So that's how you have to treat ChatGPT as well. So I think prompting is really important. And some tips for prompting is making sure you outline clearly to chat what their specific role is. So that might be, hey, chat, as my real estate marketing assistant, as a prompt, right? Or hey, chat, as my professional copywriter for my real estate business. So that's a more clear prompt as its role. And then secondly, what's your role? Okay, making sure chat's aware. I'm a real estate agent. I'm based on the Sunshine Coast. This is what I am passionate about. So giving ChatGPT some prompts around who you are too and what you do will be important for it to create content more aligned with your personality and brand. Now, the best thing about Chat, at least the paid version, which I use, is that it will remember you, and then you can actually ask it afterwards. You can prompt it by saying, hey, Chat, based on previous blog articles, for example, that you've written for me, can you come up as my marketing assistant for my real estate business with a new blog article around three of the most affordable suburbs here on the coast? And can you align it with my previous tone and style? So giving it clear instructions of how you want that to look is important too. And then because it remembers all the past stuff it's done for you, it'll come up with an article in your tone, style, and your sort of language. And again, that's going to be beneficial because it's going to align and build trust with your audience because it's going to be more aligned with your personality and brand. So that's really important too. And again, making sure once you have the article to refine it. So you can read through, and I'm just using the blog article as an example, but you can read through the blog article and then you can ask chat to refine it if there's any discrepancies or if it doesn't quite align. Like I might say, hey, chat, this is great, but you've missed out some important information about the statistics of the current market that I've indicated to you previously. Can you re-include those into this article? And then it'll write the article again, making sure it includes the stuff that you want to include. So clear prompts, really good. And again, with the prompts, you can get creative with prompts. And actually, you can use ChatGPT to ask for the prompts you want to use. So just go into ChatGPT and say, hey, chat, I'm a real estate business, and I want to come up with some clear prompts I can use to help you create better content for my social media posts. What prompts can you suggest? And then it'll give you a bunch of prompts, right? So again, we use the system to help use the system better. So that's what I love about ChatGPT as well. So what can we use ChatGPT for? Well, I started off, as I said, using it for just help refine writing my blog articles. And initially, I was actually still writing the full article, with paragraphs, intro, body, outro, etc. And then I was putting it into chat just to clean up because my grammar or spelling might have been not so accurate. And then I got to a point where I was just like, actually, this system's so good, I can actually just give it some summaries. So I'd write some summaries about whatever article I read, and then I'd write summary about the next article I read, and then I'd just ask Chat to combine it into an article based on my past articles and my style, and then it'd create a new article on that. And then I got even lazier with Chat, and I just started pressing record and saying, "Hey, Chat, I've just read this article. These are the key insights that I took away from it, and this is what my opinion is about this particular article. Blah blah blah." And then you'd press play or send, and it'd go into Chat, and then again asking it to create the article for you. So that's how I started with ChatGPT. I use it for absolutely everything. It's pretty much open on my desktop full time, and I think the most efficient way to use it is using that record button because it can understand my language, and I speak quite rapidly and sometimes not very clearly, but ChatGPT can generally pick up on my language pretty accurately. So the record button's a great save, and it can be used on pretty much any of the apps that you use. I think on the desktop version, maybe you can't use that record option, so I just use the apps on my computer or my iPhone or whatever it might be. And that's the good thing about the app as well. When you're walking out and about, you can actually ask Chat to um, do certain things for you whilst you're on the move. I actually just started using Chat for writing property descriptions. So when I go to a market appraisal, instead of writing down with my hand all the notes about the property, I just press record and say, okay, this is a 3-bedroom house, large bedrooms, there's robes, fans, air conditioning, solar system on the roof. And then I can press stop. And then when I get to the next section, I can press record again and update it with more information about the property. And then after I've finished the walkthrough of the property, I can say, hey, Chat, can you create a property summary based on the information that I've just given you? And I can press send, and it'll come up with a nice property summary with all the key details of the property, which you can then just import to your computer, save into your CRM against that property. And there you have it. You've got full property notes for that particular property. Now, using that again, if you go through and list the property for sale, we use this in our team here. We will take those property notes and say, hey, Chat, we've just listed this property. We need to come up with a property copy for the advertisement of this property. Can you help create that? And then you can put some more inputs in there if you like. I like to add a bit of a story, so sharing a bit of a story about the property, how it feels, etc. And then ChatGPT will create your property copy. So I used to use a copywriter for all my properties, but as soon as Chat came along, that sort of wasn't necessary anymore because Chat now does our copywriting for our properties. Now, again, the prompts are important for this because ChatGPT will use its own language and wording for property. It'll use, like you'll see the same words come up, like nestled is one of them. And so we make sure we try and change that so it's a little bit more aligned with, our language and style and not the same for each property as well. So it doesn't look like Chat as well because people will start picking up on when we're using it. Not that that matters because I think Chat writes better copy than anyone anyway. And generally, our clients are very happy with the copywriting. From there, so this is around the property listing once again, you can say, hey, Chat, we've listed the property. Can you create some social media posts for this property? Come up with 3 different styles so we can share this over the next week or 2 weeks or whatever it might be. And then ChatGPT will create social media copy for you, which you can share on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, wherever it might be. If you have videos, so I use it often for my videos, and I'll say, hey, this is going to get loaded to YouTube. This is what the video is about. Can you create the YouTube copy for this and create the tags so I can add the tag code into YouTube, and that'll pretty much spit out everything. So I think that's another really good way to use Chat is to write all your copy. So property descriptions, you can do it for. You can use it for creating email campaigns. And this is a really handy tool that saved me many hours. And that's just creating really clever email campaigns because ChatGPT knows how best to write emails. And you can ask it, hey, based on professional email copy for real estate agents, can you come up with an email that I can send out to my database to encourage them to engage with us and book an appraisal? And it'll go through and it'll create that for you. So It's a fantastic way to create email copy and also nurturing sequences as well. So if you have, let's say there's leads that come into your database, you can have a nurturing sequence. Say, if I get a homeowner that comes into our system that is indicated in some way that they're potentially going to be selling in the next 6 to 12 months, you put that into a certain category, and we want to create a email sequence to keep them nurtured through that journey until they actually book us in for appraisal. So that's a really clever thing ChatGPT can do. So I've talked about blog articles, social media posts, YouTube descriptions, captions, just listed properties, just sold properties. Again, we've listed the property, we've got Chat to write the copy for that. Now we've sold it, we can get Chat to write copy for that as well. Let's look at some admin functions. This is pretty cool. So writing systems. So systems and procedures for your business, really important to have to keep things rolling. And certainly if you have a team, it's great to have systems there that they can refer to when doing tasks. And we've used ChatGPT immensely to create systems for our business, and we'll continue to do so along the way. You can get ChatGPT to review documents. So you can actually upload documents now and get it to review it. So if you have a contract for a property or a listing agreement, you can actually upload it into ChatGPT to check over and make sure it's accurate. Of course, again, you need to do your work and make sure it's accurate. Don't just rely on AI to do it all for you. But certainly it's a way to review documents and even summarize documents. If you get a big document coming in, you could upload it into chat and say, hey, can you give me a summary of the key aspects of this contract that I should be aware of or consider? And ChatGPT will do that for you. So reviewing documents, you can create images with chat now. I've played around with this a little bit. It's not too bad. It's pretty good. And whether that's just gimmick images for fun or whether it's creating some serious images for your blog post, ChatGPT can now do that. And the next version of chat, again, I think will be creating images that will absolutely be used by me more and more. Currently, we use Canva, and Canva's now got AI incorporated into it as well. So Canva's a good tool for creating all your images and stuff. Coming up with like as a marketing assistant or as a research assistant, you can use chat. So if you wanted to research, 5 things that top real estate agent companies are doing at the moment that's helped getting them more business, you can use chat to help do that. If you wanted to use chat to come up with your marketing brand, you can use chat to do that as well. So that might be, crafting a real good marketing strategy for your business. Chat can absolutely help you roll out a new marketing and branding strategy for your business as well. You can use chat to create lead magnets. And if you don't know what lead magnets to create, you can say, okay, chat, I want to create 3 lead magnets for my website. What would be the top, lead magnets that I could create based on your research of real estate across Australia? And what would be the lead magnets that homeowners would most likely click on or want or value that we could create? And then it'll create, some examples of lead magnets that you can use. And then you can take chat further and say, okay, with that first lead magnet, it might be how to price your home correctly. Can you help write copy for a lead page that will help convert more people into my CRM? So certainly that's another great way to use chat. Look, the story never ends. There's lots of things you can do with chat. And personally, I use it a lot for cooking recipes. I used to use Google and now I use chat. If I've got 3 ingredients in the fridge, carrots, pork, and broccoli, I can say, hey, chat, what's some good recipes to create with these 3 ingredients? And it'll find me some recipes. You can use it to create itineraries. So I'm about to travel to Barcelona for the EXP International Conference. Hey, chat, I'm heading to Barcelona. I've got 2 days before the conference starts. What are the best sites and itinerary for me while I'm there for that 2 days? And it'll come up with a very good itinerary. I used that last year for my trip to EXP in Miami, and it came up with an itinerary for me to get to New Orleans from Miami over the course of a few days, and we had a great trip, and it was all planned basically using ChatGPT. If you want to find flights and things like that, you can use ChatGPT as well. So yeah, it's endless basically what you can do with ChatGPT. I use it to do a lot of business strategy now as well. So I'm looking to write 2 new books, and I've had a podcast running for over a decade now called the Hidden Why Podcast. And I'm actually going to use AI and ChatGPT to help create 2 books from all the data from all my past podcasts, which I can input into an AI program, get it to basically do the research on all my interviews, and then come up with content for my books, which obviously then I can just easily use to write a couple of books for my podcast. So it's pretty immense. That is my session this week on ChatGPT. For those online with us today, what we'll do, we'll press stop on the record here, and we'll have a bit of Q&A, and we can actually jump into ChatGPT if anyone has questions about how to use it. And guys, we're here helping real estate agents, mentoring, coaching. If you need any help with your business or want to chat, reach out, make sure you connect. And thank you for tuning in this week.